For a person who lives in a state of deficiency, feeling not good enough, wanting approval, wanting status, wanting to have something, they don't know what, but still wanting to have it nonetheless. The idea, the very concept of living in a world of abundance would be terrifying. It would be uncomfortable. It would be like the worst kind of hell. At work, I found myself increasingly anxious over my to-do list. I had everything to do and my list just kept on growing. No matter how much I did, more tasks just popped up and I thought that was in hell. I thought that it would never be enough. No matter what I did, it would never be enough work for my coworkers, my boss, the people around me. It took me a long time to realize that I was not in hell. I was actually, in fact, in heaven. Because there is something very, very rewarding about being wanted. I was in a state of abundance. I was in a state where everything was possible to me, everything was available. I could choose to do anything from an infinite set of lists of demands and ideas. And every single day, I had every single option available to me. Yeah, I was in abundance, but I acted like a person in deficiency. Being in abundance brought up all these questions in me. Questions of, am I good enough? Am I fast enough? Am I able to do enough? And am I able to do it well enough? Am I able to deliver with enough quality, enough passion, enough resolve? Am I able to meet expectations? It brought up questions of my status, my value, my worth, and my capacity as a human being. Yeah, as soon as I saw how much was available to me, I thought immediately of what was not available to me. And there are other anxieties that can come up when we move from not having to having. Say we start a new relationship, for example, and we immediately start thinking, what if we lose this person? Say if we get to know a friend and we start thinking, what if our friend doesn't like us? And say if we start to pick up a new hobby and we start wondering, what if I one day grow bored and don't want to do this anymore? Yeah, when we're in deficiency, we are immediately drawn to the lack, the not having, the not being, the not. And this is a trained system of belief. When you're a monkey in a rainforest filled with bananas on every single tree, you're not really thinking about all the bananas you can't have. And you're not mindlessly grabbing for every banana you can see, hoarding them on top of yourself like a mountain of wealth. Hiding it off from other people. The very thought would be ridiculous. Why would I grab a banana? Why would I store them up? After all, I can just take them from the trees whenever I need them. And so it's important to note that our society of consumption, mass consumption, waste, throwing things away, buying things we don't need, never using them, and then throwing them away, right? This whole society is built on this premise of, what if I lose these things? What if I can't have these things? What if they go away? What if that discount ends and I never bought it? What if other people buy it before me? I don't want it, I don't need it, but what if? Now, the thing is, we train people to think in terms of lack and in terms of deficiency. Our whole culture of advertisement is arguably the strongest societal force today. It is something we spend an unfathomable amount of money on. Most industries will put up to 90% of their budget towards advertising. That's how crazy this world has gotten. And they're advertising because they're afraid that somebody else is going to advertise more. So once again, they are driven by this very same logic, shit in, shit out, right? So if you are struggling with deficiency, you're also going to make other people struggle with deficiency. Your very desire to be the best at work so that you won't get fired puts other people in fear of being replaced makes other people worry about getting fired. The faster you work, the more you deliver, the more other people feel they have to work in order to deliver, and so and so and so we keep competing with each others, and that's called the rat race. What if we already live in an age of abundance but don't know it? I know there are many people out there that don't have enough. I know there are people that starve, people that don't have access to food, people that don't have access to the basic material necessities like a home to live in and a job and somewhere, something they can wear, something that can be their own, right? But this is by design. We have more than enough for everyone's needs, but not for everyone's greeds, right? We choose politically to let people starve because we want people to be hungry. And we argue over and over again that people that are hungry are going to work harder, are going to do more for less money. Yeah, it's also about getting to be able to hire people for less money, of course, right? This is the politics of capitalism. And yeah, I'm not here to essentially tell you what you need to think about capitalism. I'm sure you have your opinions here already. I'm just here to get you thinking about your own worth right here today. How do you feel? Do you feel like you have enough, or do you feel like you need more? What is it you feel that you would need in order to enter a state of abundance? At what point from now on, if you got to ask for whatever it is that you wanted, what would you need exactly, like, in order to be happy? I know, if you get to ask a question to a genie, right? You'd say, make me a billionaire, right? Just give me a shitload of money. But if you try to think of exactly how much money would you need in order to feel like you had enough, can you get that number? Can you think of what that number would be? I mean, yeah, I could say 1 million, but what if, I saw a house that was for 2 million? Or I could say 10 million, but then what if, and once again, this is how our wheel keeps spinning. There is no higher level. I think most people will always assume that they need more than what they already have. We call it the hedonic treadmill. As soon as you get something like a promotion or a higher salary, or even if you win the lottery, it only takes you a few weeks to revert to your regular baseline of happiness and well-being, and that level of happiness might not be that high from the get-go. It might still be a feeling like you don't have enough, that you need more, and so it goes. That's why people never stop. They don't stop at 300 billion, they don't stop at 1 trillion. They keep going until they hit the limit, right? That is to say, that until they confront this very idea of deficiency. There are several people that make no active effort or pursuit to make money, not because they can't get it or because they've already given up, but because they simply don't see the value of it, and they prioritize other things in life, like relationships, like family, like living, like engaging in meaningful hobbies, sharing, doing something good for the world. Yeah, these people are all around us. We don't see them, perhaps because they're not always in the media. After all, we like to make top lists of all the richest people in the world, but we never make top lists of the people that decided that they were happy just the way things are. Those people don't end up in high scores, right? So it's a question of high scores. Anyway, if I would scroll back a second, I'd scroll back to the question of you, right here, right now. I think that most people can find already happiness in their current job, in their current relationship, with their current family, with their current circle of friends. Most people can find happiness and contentment and joy in all of these things. But it takes a completely different feeling, not just a completely different mindset, but a completely different feeling in your body, right? Not just the conscious belief that you are safe, that you have enough, that you are in a state of abundance, but also a feeling in your body that you are safe, that you have enough, a comfort in your pinky toe, your finger, your nails, your eyes, that allows you to, when you look at things, to not look at them with hunger, but with contentment, right? And it changes your conversations completely. When you're in abundance, your very prospect of having friends and how you look at friends and how you talk to friends changes from a desire for approval to a desire for connection. It's a switch. Imagine that you would rewire your brain to no longer want approval from other people. Instead, you'd satisfy for love and connection. Imagine that you would no longer seek to be unique or different to other people. Instead, you'd choose to just listen to and stay in touch with your own inner voice. Imagine that you'd let go of cheap entertainment and a desire to be distracted and replaced it with a genuine ability to play and have fun in any situation. Imagine you let go of your need for control or how things should be or order, and instead let yourself be driven by a sense of purpose, goals. Imagine that you let go of perfectionistic idealism and the search for the right idea or the right way of doing something, and instead you surrender to full and unlimited creativity coming from your own inside. And imagine that you let go of the desire, the superficiality, the shallowness of wanting to look nice for other people, and instead went for what you yourself believed to be beautiful. Tapped into wonder and awe. Develop your own aesthetic sense. What you feel is right, not what other people told you was right. Imagine that you let go of a desire to be constantly busy and to always have something to do, and instead chose to be completely engaged no matter where you were and no matter what you were doing, be it meditation, mindfulness, or sports, to be fully in your body and in that situation and to be fully engaged with it no matter where you were. Imagine you let go of arrogance, status, the desire for power or to be the best, and instead committed to a life of lifelong learning, nurtured a beginner's mind, and kept letting yourself be amused by the world around you, looking at the sun every day as if you saw it for the first time, wondering why it's there and where it came from, and why you are here today to look at it. The topic today was, do we already live in an age of abundance? I mean, if you look around yourself, you'll find that the signs are there. I mean, we live in a world with more stuff than ever before. We have so many material possessions. We have nature. We have people all around us, 8 billion of us now. So many possible people we could befriend. So why do we feel lonely? So many things. So why do we feel like we don't have enough? We can find almost anything secondhand today if we want to, because most people don't have the space, so they just throw it away. Yeah, we live in abundance, we have it all around us, but we don't act like it yet. I think if we acted like it, it would completely shift things around, and how we would act would be very different. And I think if we could let go of the greed, I think then we'd also solve the problems of world hunger, because we would no longer tell people they couldn't have food because we need to sell it at a profit. But how do we get there? How do we get people to... How do we act if we live in a world of abundance instead of a state of deficiency? It's like The body is there. We've been transported to a world of infinite wealth, but our bodies still feel like we are poor and in prison. So how do we get our body aligned with material reality around us? That's my question today. Thank you so much for watching.